changing a thermostat on a 2008 Ford Focus. Alright, I already take out the old thermostat because in there is so tight you cannot see in there with the camera. So I'm going to be explaining it to you how you're going to do it and the easy way to do it. Easy possible way to do it. Because the first time when I look at it, so I have to remove the power steering and stuff like that and the belt. So at further I check it out more closely, and I want to, because you want to do the easiest way and the fastest way. You don't want to take out too much stuff when you're really doing any job on the car. Okay, so basically this is the thermostat, the one that I removed from the car. Okay, so this thermostat, it comes with a housing, okay, which is built in on the housing. Some of the thermostat is come by itself. You reuse back the housing. Okay, so the problem with this thermostat, sometimes you get heat, and the faster you drive, the heat goes away. There's no more heat in the car because we live in a cold country, Canada, so which is like from October, November to about April is cold. Okay, so you need really heat in the car. So I'm gonna go over the function of this here, what it does. Okay, you see, the function of the thermostat is to allow the car to warm at a certain temperature or heat up at a certain temperature, and when it's reached the temperature, the thermostat open, because this basically blocks the water from the engine to go back to the radiator. So the engine always hot. The engine is hot like fire, you know, it's like a lot of degree on the engine. So this water is at boiling point, so it doesn't want to release the water back to the radiator. So when it's reached a certain temperature, the thermostat, what it does is release the water from the engine, because it doesn't want the water in the engine get too hot, because you're going to have a overheating problem. So what it does is open and releases the water back to the radiator. Then the radiator fan kicked in with the computer system. There's no temperature to start cooling down the water. So this water will be cool. Then the other water that enter, that comes in cooler, but not cold, but little bit degree cool, the thermostat is sense it. So when you don't have the degree here, the thermostat closes. So now your engine gonna be eating up that water that entered there. Remember, water coming out, water going in. So the thermostat closes, the water don't come out. So when the car reaches the temperature again, overheating temperature, to the degree of what this sets for, manufacturer said it at a certain degree is gonna open and release back the water. Okay, so the water from the engine now is hot, so this water goes in your car, which we call into a heater core. A heater core is basically a small radiator, like the one in the front that the water passes through. And the way you get heat in your car is that the heater core, the water in the heater core is hot, but basically it doesn't do anything unless your fan blows through the heater core, and the cool air that goes through the heater core is become warm on the other side of the heater core. So, and then you get heat all over your car to warm up your car. So that's its work. So if this here is keep open, what happens? Your water is always keeping cool. The water is hot, but it doesn't stay at the temperature that you should get, because they keep cooling. And when you're driving, the air cools the radiator, because a lot of air, you know, when you're driving, you put it on outside of the car, you can feel the pressure of the air. So that air, what it does, it helps to cool the car down. And in winter, it's worse because it's -20, -30. So you wouldn't get no heat. You will freeze in the car, because what happened, that coldness will cool the radiator down. So that's why you need your thermostat to be functioning properly. Okay, so this thermostat come with the housing, like I said, and you have some thermostat. This thermostat is by itself, so you just use back the housing here. And this one is of 3 bolt. Okay, it's very tight in there, and it's 3 number 8 bolt. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the tool that you need for this job. I use a 3/8, 1 extension, and I use the second extension to that to put the two together. Remember, 1 short, It's about like 3" to 4", and then you use a short extension because you need the right length to get in there. So you don't want too long because you cannot put your tool, it's gonna touch on the radiator fan. And if you put it too short, then you cannot turn it because you have the intake. Okay? And those 3 screws is not hard to get it, you can see it. You gotta peep through some hole to see the screws. And when you get the screws out, then you take off your, you have 2 holes that goes to this thermostat. Okay? You have the hose that, this hose let the water out, and then you have the hose on top that fold back the engine. Okay? So the water is going in circle. Okay? So that's how you change the thermostat on a 2008 Ford Focus, because it's very simple. And sometimes you might have problem to take the hose out, because what happened for so many years there and the heat, the hose might jam on the housing, so you might have to try to turn and there's not much space there. So that would be one of your hardest problem, but this one come out very easy. Fortunately, I was fortunate that I get it out easy. You just one shake and I just fight with it and put it back. Okay. Now the new one, you all have a gasket on it, so you don't have to be messing with a gasket under there, because there's no way for you to like get a loose gasket. So it already have its gasket around here. So the hardest thing for you is to do is to put the screw back. And I'm gonna show you a trick what I do with screws when I put them back in a tight place like this, because right, so when you get your screw, okay, you're gonna have put the screw in the socket, but you have to go in there. There's so many things you're gonna be touching. So what happens, your screw is gonna fall off in there. You don't want that to happen. It can be fall off and it's stuck somewhere under, because under the thermostat is your AC compressor. I don't want it to stuck there, because you don't want to remove back your thermostat housing. You don't want that again. So what you do, peel a piece of paper from the box. That's what I do most times when I'm working with tight places and I don't want my screw to fall down. I take the paper and I shove it in the socket, take the screw and I put it on the socket and I squeeze it there. Right? I squeeze it. So what happened now, I have a screw that is very strong, right? So this I can push it and I don't have to worry that it's gonna fall down in there. And then when I finish, I just give it some little shake and it slips right out. Okay? So that is the trick, to put this screw back in there, because you go in about 5-6 inches, maybe 8 inches inside. So there's no way that you can catch it by your hand there. So this is how you put back the screw. Okay? And when you put back the screw, it's reverse of what you're taking it out. You take it, the screw and the hose. But for this job, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be putting my thermostat halfway, then I'm gonna be connecting my hose, because when it's in there, it's even a little bit tricky to get your hose back. Okay, because there's no space in there to get the clamp back and to screw your clamp. So before I put back the thermostat, this is a new one, I'm gonna be keeping it out a little bit, and I'm gonna catch my 2 hoses, clamp them, and then I finish installing the thermostat, which is gonna be easy, because when this thermostat is out, it's easy access for me to tighten my clamp. Okay, and so that's it. So that's the easiest way to change the thermostat in 2004. I wish I could show you down there, but there's no space for the camera to fit in there to show you how to do it. But I hope I explain it to you, that you can understand how to take on a job like this, because it's a little difficult at first, but you just have to look for the 3 screw. You have to look through the intake. You're gonna see the 3 screw, and look through the power steering pump and the intake for the next screw. So I hope that this video helped you to change the thermostat on a 2008 Ford Focus, and keep watching for more interesting video, and subscribe to my channel. Okay. Okay, bye.